to the weekend culture. Welcome to the weekend culture. Welcome to the weekend culture. We push back, push back.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome back to Honey Badger Arcade. My name is Brian. I'm here with John, the problematic white guy, and this is the Week in Culture, where we discuss the news of the week, the cultural news of the week, and push back on all the false narratives. We basically keep it as real as possible. So, welcome to the show, John. How are you?
Oh, awesome as always. Not terribly too much going on at the moment. I've been just taking care of some just old passion projects that I just got interested in doing at one point in time. Didn't have the whatever freedom to just see a way to just be like, oh, I'll go take care of that now. And so I've actually made quite a few recordings this week for like my music library. I've got like a 3-hour the David Bowie memorial they did 5 years after he died. I've had this video for like 5 years now, so I'm breaking it down to like 42 tracks and turning it into an album. So that's it's basically what I've been doing with my free time lately. So it's been pretty low key for me, so no complaints. So I'm all ready to go today.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know we missed last week, and we're back on the regular schedule. But yeah, I'm doing well too. Put out multiple videos. I'm working on like a decent like workflow schedule because I do the show at Honey Badger Radio. I'm also helping Paul Elam over on his channel, repairing the Manosphere, and I have my own little side things that I do where I like to live stream some like, what the kids are calling unk slop games, which are basically like older games that still hold up, that I've heard about, because I never played them before. So right now I think I'm coming up on the end of Half-Life 2 Episode 2, or at least like I started it. So I should finish Half-Life 2 Episode 2 this week. So far enjoying it quite a bit. And also Left 4 Dead 2, which is a game that I never played. It's a good time as well. I can really see like those games hold up really well, considering they're like over 20 years old, I think. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I put out a few videos this week talking about the Hegelian dialectic and how it relates to what's going on in our culture right now, and also some videos about what we're going to be talking more about today, which is Broad of War. But we have to also get into like this topic of 007 First Light, which we will be covering on the show today. So stick around. We got a lot to talk about. I know we also had Summer Games Fest. I didn't watch it, but I did look at some highlights, and I think I want to talk about the stuff that I'm excited for, because most of it is forgettable. But there are some like little standout things that I think shows some promise. So, but okay. So I want to first of all give a shout out to you guys. Please share the video around if you can and hit like on it, especially if you're on Rumble. That's like the channel I want. I want the Rumble platform to grow. I want it to be a legitimate space to where people can make content, so I can convince the other people I work with to also move over to Rumble. It's hard for that, but I know I got Paul on Rumble, and that's cool, but no one is over there. So like if we're not on Rumble watching videos, then we're not going to be able to escape YouTube. And I think that escaping YouTube should be an option. Like we definitely should, right? So please consider going to Rumble and subscribing to my channel, Honey Badger Arcade there. It is essentially the same. It's spelled the same. It's the same thing. So Honey Badger Arcade, all one word. All right? Okay, so let us get into today's story. So first, we got one. It's a little bit delayed because I didn't do a show last week, which is 007 First Light. So this, yeah, what was that?
I said I prefer my name.
Gaslight. Yeah,
Yes.
Gaslight. So okay, so this has been interesting because I've been saying for a while now, that the thing about like progressive politics in our media is that the ham fisting stuff doesn't go over well, and they're learning that. You can look at what happened in Hollywood, even going back to Ghostbusters 2016. You know, when you make a statement as loud and as proud as possible, and you're trying to like own the chuds, it will eventually backfire because normal people are going to be disgusted at that.
Yeah, Sony has a pattern of doing that.
Oh
Clearly.
yeah.
You know, because not only in the movie division, as we saw with Ghostbusters, you mentioned, but of course the last 10 years on PlayStation, which we will get further into,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in due time in the show. But yeah, they're really just blatantly just saying, "Oh, it's the thing you like, but women."
Yeah, exactly. We changed it a little bit, but what are you, a sexist? So and also let me quickly to the people in the vertical chat that are watching this on mobile, or you came across this while you were doom scrolling. Stop doom scrolling and stick around. Muhammad Amar and Alejandra TRRS. Hello and welcome to the stream. All right. So yes, what we're at now is this is essentially stage 3. So first, there was denial when they were doing this stuff. They were like, you know, no one's gonna hate this, and because they would be bigots otherwise. Then there was anger. Then there was like, you know, if you don't like this product, then don't buy it, you chud. Right. Now they're at the bargaining stage. So this is where you basically say, okay, we're gonna give you what you want, but we're also gonna leave in some of what we want.
Right.
And what we're going to assume that you are going to do is accept what we're putting in, because we're not ruining your game completely. And that way, you know, we can like still have our cake and eat it too. We're going to have both of these things coexist.
Right.
So first, I got to say about 007, for number one, I haven't played it. I didn't buy it. And it's not because I was making some kind of massive statement. It's literally because I can't. I got better games that I could play, to be honest, but I don't think it's a bad game. So I can't be unfair to the game. All right. So I have seen reviews for the game, and overall, as far as like whether or not it's a game, it is. It's not mixtape. It's not Dustborn.
Mechanics and flow state, from what I understand, are, you know, where they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the mechanics for what? For the first light?
Yeah, the mechanics and the flow state, you know, like in terms of what it's doing, like, you know, like that is solid. But a game, you know, that's being put forth by EA as just a, you know, an overarching kind of umbrella of support should at least have good gameplay mechanics. So
well, yeah,
that I won't fault.
In terms of like, is it competently made? Yes, but it is more than that. So like,
right.
Because I gotta give credit where credit is due. So we are because there, you know, a lot of people worked on this, and I'm sure that most of them were talented and they did a good job. So like, it was praised as a cinematic globe-trotting spy adventure that masterfully blends Hitman-style social stealth and improvisation with Uncharted-like action set pieces. So it has satisfying gunplay, gadgets, chases, you know, and a strong original story featuring a young Patrick Gibson, I think he's the actor, as a charismatic, evolving James Bond. So that, you know, it captures most of it really well. A lot of people said it's like the best Bond game since 007 GoldenEye. That's a I mean, since then
there's been good games. There's been great James Bond.
Yeah, there was a couple of there was like a Sean Connery one that was
the ones with really Pierce Brosnan were also quite good. Where, you know, it was
I never played them, but I really want to, like the old ones. Yeah.
There's the PS2 era of James Bond games, really quite solid.
Yeah, I bet they were. Yeah, but this is what people are saying. I'm just saying that, you know, this is what I mean. Most of them, again, they're probably people who were either too young or not even alive when those old games were out.
Right,
so
exactly. So they just know GoldenEye is the buzzword.
Exactly. GoldenEye is like their buzzword. It's their go-to.
You
like GoldenEye, you like this, right?
Right,
so, And I mean, GoldenEye's good, but like, it's clear that they don't really know like the breadth of all of the sort of
Right.
007 games that have been made, because that's the one that they use as their gold standard. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it nails all of the beats in terms of let's start with gameplay. So in terms of gameplay, it's solid across the board. It is very Uncharted-like, and I think that's one of the things that hurt it as well. But that's more in terms of the tone. So like the one thing that people who are being critical, and I think this is very fair, aside from like we'll get into the DEI stuff in a second, but like first of all, the pacing is very linear, and you either like that or you don't like that. Like I don't mind linear games if that's what it is, because I mean, Mario Brothers is linear. I don't want an open world Mario Brothers game, so I don't mind linear games. Cinematic games are fine too if there is enough gameplay to sort of like where it is like mostly a game and not a cinematic.
Right.
Again, I think of games like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta that have cinematics in them, but they are primarily games. It takes about 15 to 20 hours, which is a pretty long for a linear sort of story-driven game. Like I think like if you're playing like an action game, because I don't know exactly, I think this one could take long because it does have the stealth and stuff. But if you're playing like an action game that has like a pretty fast pace, I think if it's like 10 hours long, that's good enough for me. Like I don't need, because like Uncharted is like about 8 hours, the first one, and that's fine. I think it's a good time for what it is, and you can play it multiple times if you want to. Sorry, but where I think the real complaints come in that I think are legitimate, without getting into the woke stuff, because there is woke stuff, it is in the tone of the writing of the dialogue and the Bond behavior, because they're writing James Bond like he's Nathan Drake. And what were you gonna say? What?
I was just laughing about the state of things. Yes.
Yeah. So he's like throwing out quips, and I mean, James Bond is like, as a character, he can do that, but it's not the same. He's very like cool under pressure, like and then they use the excuse of like, well, he's a young James Bond, right? First of all, I don't know why they chose that, like why they're going with a young Bond. I have some theories.
I got some theories on it as well.
I have some theories, but I'll bring that up later. But it is weird that they decided, let's do like, do you remember that cartoon show, James Bond Jr.? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that, but as a video game, it's slightly more mature. Yeah. So yeah, there's like some of the writing is off. The tone of it feels less James Bond, more Uncharted. Like if you're doing, like say if you make a game about another property like John Wick, you don't want John Wick to act like Nathan Drake or to act like James Bond. You want him to act like John Wick, which is like a specific type of character. If you make a video game about Jason Bourne, you're going to be writing him another way. If you're writing a video game about Jack Reacher or Ethan Hawke from the Mission Impossible movies, like these are all, I'm using these as examples because they're similar in terms of like their genre, but they're not the same in terms of the way the characters are written. James Bond is he's a very sophisticated character. That's what makes him different from those guys, right? John Wick is the boogeyman, right? Jason Bourne is like a sleeper agent that is awakened and doesn't even like understand where he gets all of his skills from. Ethan Hawke is a highly trained agent, but he's like more of like part of a team of guys. Or not? Did I say Ethan Hawke? Right? No, not Ethan Hawke. Not Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hunt. Yeah. Ethan Hawke is an actor. Ethan Hunt, the Mission Impossible guy. So there is like a way to do Bond, and it's primarily about he operates within high society. He's highly sophisticated. He is the most, like, he's in like you put him in like a setting where everybody is really rich and powerful, and they're at a party or whatever, and he's the most dangerous man in the room and nobody knows it. Like that's how you do that. Now, I don't know if they captured that in this game, but from what I heard, it seems like he's just sort of like, this quippy, like millennially written character, like that just happened, like that kind of guy.
Right.
And that's
I
what
get
people-
I get the feeling they played a little bit with who he is at this stage, because the whole idea of framing, of their pretext, they're trying to re-envision a James Bond that is not hampered with all the misogynistic tropes and this and that, and so they have to start him out young.
Yes.
And in doing so, they want him to be more malleable, so it seems organic that he's not, this, just misogynistic archetype that he otherwise would be. But in doing so, they're seeming to forget that before he became a secret agent, he was already military trained, so he should actually have a lot of those more masculine traits built into him, even by the point in time that he's entering into a life as a secret agent. He may be fresh and new to being a secret agent, but it doesn't mean that he's not like trained on doing missions and all this and that. But instead, of course, that's not what this is about. This is not about reflecting the character. It's about reinterpreting the character through a feminist lens and trying to establish the modern man as he's acceptable by today's terms.
Yep.
Trash. Which is why I immediately thought of Gaslight when I was like, oh, I gotta make a thumbnail for this. Yeah, I know exactly what they're telling me.
100%.
Yeah.
Now we get into right. So like I said, tonally it's off a little bit, but like a lot of the compliments are they're well placed, and there are attractive women in the game. Now here's where I'm gonna come in with my I guess you could say my criticisms that of the people who normally would be on our side of things, but they sort of like side with these people because they make this mistake of thinking, well, there are chicks with bikinis in the game, therefore the game is not woke. Okay. Right. Like, oh, well, there are hot women. So like, it's like, they'll take it. Like, oh, I'll take that. Yeah.
Right.
This is the negotiation part. This is where they're negotiating with you.
Right. We'll give you one hot woman in a swimsuit, but you have to take 7 other women that are constantly standing around making decisions for James.
Yes.
Right.
We'll give you the chick in the bikini. Just accept that there's like a brown woman who's his boss. And she's of course a girl boss.
Indeed. So, speaking of brown girl bosses, good morning, Toasty. I hope you're awesome today.
So here we have. Do you have hot chicks? And then you have this. This is Moneypenny. And it's important to note that, like, for those of you guys that watched all the James Bond movies, Moneypenny has always been a recurring character. And I don't know if you noticed, but even in the films, and I think this is the thing that people like they kind of like miss this. Over time, the Moneypenny character became more and more girl bossy, right? In the beginning, she was like an assistant, almost a secretary, okay? And then, like, I want to say that was and that's if she showed up in the movies at all. Like, maybe I think she was in all of them, but her role was very small.
Very, very minute. It was in the initial movies, it was like, under 2 minutes. It was basically just facilitating the role of, oh, so-and-so is ready to talk to you, James.
Yeah. So, and of course, she was always attractive as well, but like not someone that Bond had embedded
designs for.
But that didn't matter because that was supposed to show that there was a separation between his work and his, like his pleasure and his work. So he kept these things separate. Like, again, James Bond is he's not a horn dog.
Right. He doesn't
he's not like somebody who has no self-control. He is the epitome of sophistication, stoicism, and cool. So he doesn't need to like, oh, I gotta have that too, right? So
he fucked those women under obligation and patriotism. All right?
He was doing it for king and country. Exactly.
That's right.
But no, that was important though. Like that was important part of the character. But like the people who are critiquing him don't understand that.
Right.
I mean, anyway. So like in the what a lot of people praise, and I like this movie. As a Bond fan myself, they praise GoldenEye, which is like the Pierce Brosnan's first James Bond movie, and I think his best one because they kind of went downhill from there. They weren't terrible, but they weren't great, right? They weren't as good as GoldenEye.
GoldenEye's 30 years old.
A lot of what makes GoldenEye great, though, has more to do with the director Campbell than anything else. But like, it was good casting. But in that one, Moneypenny has a little bit more, like, she's almost like immune. Like, that's how they write her. Like, she's immune to his charms, and like, she goes on dates with other men and all that. So like, they slightly start to elevate her a little bit more and more, and then they changed her race around in, like, I think it was the Daniel Craig Bond films. They introduced the Moneypenny character. I stopped watching the Daniel Craig movies after, I want to say, Skyfall.
Yeah, when he got whacked in the nuts on the chair, I was like, okay, all right.
Oh, well, I think Casino Royale is great, but
no, Casino Royale is great.
I mean, it was by another man, so.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, I distinctly remember, Skyfall. I think I've seen it maybe once or twice, but yeah, Casino Royale is kind of like, all right, I see where we're shifting things to, and then when it was Skyfall, I think I was checked out by the time Quantum of Solace came around. And then I don't even know what the hell else he was part of. I forget the names of them after that.
Yeah.
I might even not have the order correct. So, yeah. Daniel Craig was kind of a blur.
It was. And I like him as an actor, but, well, I did. I don't know if I still do, because, like, he hasn't gotten, like, good work. But if you like, want to see a good Daniel Craig movie, just check out Layer Cake. It's, like, the best thing he's done. And it was, like, one of the first things he's ever done. So I would just watch that. It's a great movie. It's like British crime. It's got Michael Gambon in it, a lot of other great British actors that did like Guy Ritchie movies and stuff. So yeah, check that out if you want some good like Daniel Craig. So, but anyway, so yeah, they did this thing with Moneypenny over time. And so it was no surprise that they were just going to like lean into that, because this is how they do it. It's always incremental, little steps, right? And the same thing with M. So M is now being voiced by and I guess I assume, I don't know if M appears in the game, but I assume that it's not just the voice, but M is performed by Priyanka Bruford, a British actress known for her roles in industry, press, and a cameo in No Time to Die. She portrays a sharp, pragmatic head of MI6 who sees potential in Bond. So there's another thing too. Historically, and I'm going to show you guys real quick, M was played by men. Mm-hmm. And then Judi Dench took over in GoldenEye. And this is like another thing. And look, I don't mind Judi Dench, but this is how the precedent got set. Right. So if it's always been men, and then they make it a woman once, now you basically just accept it. Now they have free reign to do it all the time, and that's what they've been doing. They did make this guy, why am I forgetting his name for some reason? But Fiennes, Ralph Fiennes here. Yeah. They made him M for a while, and I thought that was good. I thought, because he sort of fit in line with these other ones, but then they got rid of him. I think in the newest version, it's like another woman, and in this game, it's like like a Pakistani woman or something, like not even like an Anglo white person. And I'm sorry, but that just doesn't feel right. And what they're doing is they're trying to give it a modern update, but again, they're trying to negotiate with the customers by saying, well, here's some stuff that you guys want. And again, it does operate under a lot of assumptions about the audience too, but here's the stuff that we want. And we're going to like put them both in there, and we're going to see, if you're going to accept this. And a lot of people did, because it is selling well.
It really is quite interesting, though, too, that they are marketing the concept that the person that would be the head of an organization that's specifically based on, your government's most just, I guess, secretive and kind of important kind of dealings and everything like that is a brown Pakistani woman who's British. It's like that is so 2026. Like, yes, I'm clear that I'm sure she's completely vested in her country of origin, of course.
Yeah. Also, going back to Moneypenny again, I forgot to mention this. So as before, like I said, Moneypenny was more like an administrative assistant character in most of the stories. In this one, she's a hacker. Because we can't have women being anything less than something extremely important.
You
So
think
she's like
just
a
a
hacker
secretary?
now. No.
No.
Hacker.
No.
Hacker woman. So, and this is like, again, this is really annoying, but this is what they do. And these are, people would say that that's a small change, not a big deal. Like, for example, I don't know, maybe they'll compare it to some other video game. This is like how they kind of cope with it. They'll be like, well, in Resident Evil 4, Hunnigan is like, Leon's like liaison, that she calls, and she's probably some kind of computer expert or whatever. We don't really know. Like, the role is really small. But it doesn't matter.
They just call her a secretary, but clearly, she has like
irrelevant.
Right.
Like and it's funny too because it's kind of an elitist view on the very job of administrative assistant. Like somehow that's beneath women
Right.
to do that, and there are still plenty of people who do it like happily because it's just what they're able to do. These people are extremely elitist. This is something that I've also talked about with regards to video games in general. That they mostly appeal not just to like men, but like working class men. You're a working class man. You like I was hanging out with some guys last night, and they work in, like, one guy works with electric cables, another guy works in construction, one guy's a garbage man, and they all, like, when they get off after a long day, there's a guy who works at a gun shop. After a long day at work, they just want to play some video games, and they don't want to be lectured to. Right. And they're not interested in like the luxury beliefs of coastal elites, like these, like the people who are involved in game design.
Well, there is some interesting irony in the idea that being an administrative assistant is not good enough of a position for feminists to occupy, even though it was probably the prototype kind of job available that gave them
to enter the
workforce to begin with. Yes, it's like, oh, but you should certainly be more than just a My Girl Friday kind of position. Like even the idea of the administrative assistant was a title that was made to PC it up because being a secretary was beneath. It's just like, and now it's not. And you just want me to be an administrative assistant? Like, yeah, it's what the job is. No, clearly, like I'm also a hacker. Fucking Christ.
Yep. Okay. So they get that wrong, and then there's like, this is the other thing in the game. James Bond is rescued 3 times in the story by women. I know that they did this because they felt like they had to do it. Like they put this in the story, and again, people are gonna cope around it because everything else is entertaining and stuff. So they're gonna let that slide and not say, well, that's awfully strange. Or at least, like, even if you think, oh, I like the game a lot, you should address that. You should say, why is he you can't just make the whole, well, he's new to this.
Right.
Like, no, but he's capable because he's a man too. Like that's again, I'm just sick and tired of like avoiding the biological reality.
Well, it's kind of like how Superman last year couldn't take care of his own problems. There was always has to have a little bit of extra, a few extra helping hands to actually bring it all together. James just can't do it by himself, you see, because James Bond's not even a man. He's merely, a role within a much bigger organization that's more important than he is. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And also 007 is not a man. It's just a mantle. That's what
that's right.
They're gonna switch it over. I'm waiting for it. But they got to be careful because, again, if you just do it like with Ghostbusters or The Last of Us, or pick your poison,
right?
People might, and they will likely recoil and be like, oh, you've done this, we're gonna back away now. So they got to take it very slow, and I think that what's going on with this game is, again, they're at the bargaining stage. They're trying to give you some of what they think the players want and then some of what they want. And what they're hoping is, I think, the players have always been there, the people who have been fans, they will stick around for this and keep putting money into it, and they'll also attract, the gay race communists.
Do you suppose that Moneypenny, in this instance, is much like, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit, but Broad of War, LaFay, of course, being introduced.
Oh yeah, maybe
as like Kratos' wife, when they did the reboot. So that was supposed to be the thing that made her immediately kind of interesting and endearing, so that in 3 games down the line, now she can be debuted as the big, now this is the new star. So that's kind of like, I'm wondering who amongst James's, cadre of women is going to be the one to assume his mantle in due course.
But they did try to do that with that No Time to Die movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think that worked out. That's what I mean. Like it was probably a bridge too far at that time. But yeah, I mean, they could very well do that.
Just have to find the right woman who has enough endearment with the audience that way we can just, at that point in time, then it's just accepting the mantle. But because they already have to, we'll give them a little bit of character development and this and that. We'll try to develop, it'll seem more organic and natural that way.
They'll just keep surrounding Bond with more capable women.
That's right.
That are gonna save him from this or that. I remember they tried to do this a little bit in Uncharted 2 with Nathan Drake's old Flame character. I can't remember her name. It's like Chloe or something. That's how insignificant these people are. I forget their names all the time. I forgot that Broad of War was in the first remake until I made a video about it. And then, she was in that for a second.
Right, and they did that as the way to and that's exactly what I'm saying is they did that then. Yeah, as the way to establish the groundwork so that they could. And they do it subtle. That's because again, I talk about magic all the time here on the show, but that's because the world is more often than not being run by dark magic through marketing departments. It's just it is what it is.
Well, what I think they're gonna do, this is my prediction, is either in the films or in the video game, they're going to make a spin-off from the 007 universe featuring either Moneypenny or a female agent, maybe one they even debuted in this game.
Right.
And then they're gonna be like, oh, fans really like that character, and we're gonna make her into. And this is actually probably this game is probably a way
007 M files
they resonate with, so they can make a video game about them and then try to turn that into its own franchise.
Yep.
And they can literally just stop making 007 games.
Yep. 007
nobody does that. Here's another thing too about what they said about this new
on the money.
I think this is the most important point that I almost forgot to mention. They said that the reason for they're making changes was because they were trying to correct some of the more regressive issues from past Bond stories, like the old Bond movies, which basically says if you like those old movies, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
Because they're saying there was something wrong with them, and now we're fixing that, which means there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I will say they did make a quick turnaround in 1 year's time, though, in realizing that if you notice in the image, James is holding a gun at least. I remember last year when Amazon went and it might have been a little over a year ago now, but when they first started putting all the James Bond movies over there and they removed all the guns with the fucking AI from the marketing materials. Oh God. It's just, but yeah, that is the whole thing is right now they are trying to just bargain. They're like, all right, so clearly we can't do this because that's too overt, but what were we able to get away with before? And so now it's just the matter of they're just trying to dial in the amount of poison that they can give you to which it won't kill you, but you won't complain about it, It's like when fucking a couple months back, or when they raised the price on Xbox Game Pass, and everybody was like, "This is absurd." And then Sharma gets in there, their new head, and she's like, "Oh, well, we'll dial the price back to where it's only a 10% increase rather than a 50% increase," and that's somehow supposed to like make us all feel like she's on our side. And it's like, dude, it's fucking Trojan horse bullshit mechanics, and it's just constantly just trying to get you to say, "Oh, well, even though you're actually losing ground, just think about how much ground you could have lost. So this is actually a victory for you guys. So you should really just allow us to like make these changes, because really we're the ones who are conceding here. You're the ones who, it's like all the while they're still just like, it's like someone slowly moving into your house and just saying, look, I'm only using
yeah.
You're not even sitting on the couch most days. Like, I'm just here on the couch. It's perfectly fine. Now it's like, oh, well, now I constantly bring it up. Give a mouse a cookie, and that's all this ever is like they keep seeing where's too far, and then they go and they track it back a little bit, and they're like, all right, are they used to it yet? Are they used to it yet? Now let's go back, and that's invariably what happens is they do it subtle until they get to the point where they actually feel like these rubes will just deal with whatever we put in there. Let's just go all out and just like, let's see how many gains we can actually get. And then that's when people will kick back and they're like, oh, well, I mean, I guess maybe you guys, you know what, we're going to compromise. And then they track it back, but they're still like a little bit more, but they want to sell it to you like they've somehow, completely capitulated, and just stop bringing it up though, because everything clearly, everything's fine now. Don't worry. Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, have I introduced you to these 10 women that will be surrounding you and accompanying you throughout your journey?
Yeah. I mean, do what you want. Personally, I won't. I wouldn't settle with that because I know what's really going on here. Right. But if you enjoy the game, I don't blame you. Like I said, I understand that it's very competently made. It's just not my cup of tea. No pun intended. It's not my shaken martini. So you guys let me know if you guys are going to pick this up. Are we being unreasonable? This is a tricky one because, again, it is a negotiation at this point. But it does tell you that the devs are like they're not able to essentially just shame us and throw us out because they know that that's where the money is, and they gotta figure out a way to make these things work. Unfortunately, what it's probably going to happen to them is it's the wokies that are going to turn on them because they expect nothing but complete and absolute submission to their worldview, and if you don't submit, they're going to come after you. So I'm waiting for Lizzo as the Bond girl. Problematic parts of these to be written about.
That's right. Clearly, it's a misogynist game. They didn't have Lizzo as the Bond girl, so
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna look at what you guys are saying, and then we're gonna move on to the next story. So first, let me give some shout outs to people that are watching. Mr. 0303 says, now Brian will know the pain of wanting Half-Life 3. I guess I will. Norwegian Black Templar says, rest in peace, John Blanche. He was the original artist for Warhammer. So R.I.P. John Blanche. Let's see. Robert Johnson, Zeppo says, the game has 17 chapters. Well, I mean, it's not bad that it's long, I guess. Toasty with the Mosty 69 says, that white guy beats me and oppresses me. That Aryan guy on the panel cannot be trusted. Atchester says, hello, what's up? John owes me money. So Toasty again. Norwegian says, I miss Q and his gadgets. Yeah, those were fun. I mean, some of them were a little silly, but they were fun regardless. I don't think they were supposed to be taken too seriously. Mr. 0303 says, that face was enough for me to ignore the game, referring to Moneypenny. Joseph John Pepperelli says, a man has 9 sons. Each son has a sister. How many people are in their family? Well, 11. Did you have a problem with that question? Nova Fan gave me a Rumble rant and said, hot take, but I think we should use their idea of intolerance against them. Not being woke is not good enough. They need to be openly anti-woke. perhaps openly MAGA chud or whatever. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people don't know what it looks like when something is woke as much. Like they see the surface level things, like the obvious things, like, you know, race swapping, gender swapping, feminists, like, you know, screeching and stuff. And that's true. All of that is like really obvious, but then there's like more subtle stuff, you know.
Yeah, and sometimes
Like certain color palettes, for example.
Yeah,
you know?
and sometimes they'll put in like a giant flaming distraction to kind of mute out all the other ones that are all the more subtle to begin with, so that, you know, you focus on this one thing that's overt, and then the rest of it just kind of like goes by the wayside. And incrementalism, you know.
Yep. Let's see. Toasty with the Mosey says, I never seen James Bond. You uncultured swine. You should watch James Bond. That is ridiculous.
Watch the old ones.
Watch the old ones. Yeah, watch the old Sean Connery.
He smacks women on the ass, and
I'll recommend the Sean Connerys, all of them. Sean Connery, Roger Moore, even the Roger Moore ones that are bad. The Timothy Daltons and the Pierce Brosnans, and the George Lazenby one, which is one of the better ones. And maybe like Casino Royale for Daniel Craig. Like I like that one a lot. That's also Campbell, by the way. The director of Casino Royale is the same director that made GoldenEye. Mm-hmm. He also made the first Zorro movie, which is also really good. But that's like another conversation. So, but yes, Toasty, you should definitely check it out. Maybe you should do, I don't know, I know you do streams on Rumble. Maybe, I don't know if Rumble will let you, but maybe you should do movie viewings on your channel and watch movies that people recommend, people like me, because I know movies. So you can watch them with your panel. That could be fun. I don't know if it would get your channel taken down, but if you're adding enough commentary, maybe it doesn't matter. All right.
We've done reviews of Fallout episodes without audio.
And on Toasty's channel?
And let them play, but I don't know that I'd venture.
Have there been any issues? Oh, okay.
No, not with that, because like we've got a silk screen watermark over the top of it. And,
oh, there you go.
There's no audio, so there's ways.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's good. Yeah. All right. Robert Johnson says he'll do fine playing Putin in all of the upcoming films revising the history of the Ukraine conflict. I don't know what you're talking about.
Daniel
sorry.
Craig.
I don't get the context there. Mr. 0303 says it took 2 games of pussification to replace Kratos. I would say that it happened in the first one. It was just like a slow thing. First Light is a Trojan horse. Yes. Watch TV says, like, when they put the hot woman in a bikini in the game, they distract from the fact that there's clearly other stuff going on. Yeah. Literally, it's the woman in the red dress from The Matrix, right? Yeah. So, again, I guess that's good news that they put a hot woman in the game, but that's not nearly enough. Like, that's the bare minimum, really. I mean, it's a James Bond thing. There should be women in bikinis. like they're that's like kind of a given, like in cocktail dresses and, you know, stuff like that. But I don't know, whatever. Let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. We're gonna move on to the next story. So we got to talk about God of War, or Broad of War, Laundry. Because this, I did not have that on my bingo card when it dropped, like the trailer for that. So on the PlayStation State of Play, which is just a couple days ago, on June 3rd, 2nd, this trailer, an announcement, and gameplay reveal for God of War Laufey strongly divided fans. And strongly divided is putting it lightly. Let's just put it that way. So, you know, I'll go with what people are praising. Praise centers on the stunning visuals, fluid and acrobatic combat that feels faster and more precise than Kratos' brute style with strong parries, magic, and environmental interactions, and the intriguing concept of Fae awakening in a mysterious afterlife realm called the Everywen, exploring new mythologies and pantheons. Many are thrilled by Deborah Ann Wall's performance as the formidable Jotun giantess. The emotional ties to Kratos and Atreus' story, which is a parallel narrative, high production values, and Santa Monica's continued commitment to cinematic storytelling. Well, that much is true. Supporters call it a bold, refreshing evolution. Of course they do. That expands the universe without abandoning what made the Norse era great, with some already labeling a potential Game of the Year contender based on the reveal alone. Criticisms.
Are there any? What? What? How could this be? Criticism?
Criticisms are that Kratos is not the main character of the game. Not a God of War game. That's the first problem.
Just a small change.
Yeah. And then there's, and I don't know if this is like Norse mythology. If anybody is knowledgeable on Norse mythology, you guys fill me in. But are there magic cubes that like are sentient named Frank anywhere in Norse mythology? I'm curious about that. Even the original creator, David Jaffe, was harsh on this trailer.
Right.
A few also question the mythology choices and whether the afterlife setting will deliver meaningful stakes. Despite the backlash, developers have reassured fans that Kratos remains central to the franchise's future. He's still in the game, guys. You still have your Kratos. And positive buzz around the gameplay and phase badassery appears to outweigh the negativity for many. There's no release date yet, but it's in development for PlayStation 5. Maybe PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't know.
I imagine 10 years ago when they were talking about we're going to reboot God of War, right? And I've got this great, because the only way this game could be even more laughable in terms of what they're trying is if they would have said his wife from the first trilogy, who was just some chick, that got slain by him in his rage and delusion that was going on. That's the only way that this could be more on the face, just kind of like women get it done, kind of bullshit. Because I swear to God, 10 years ago, they're like, all right, so we're going to reboot Kratos, see, right? And we're going to like bring in the Norse mythology, but we need to have a way to center this to like, why would Kratos care? Oh, because Laufey,
Laufey, I think it's
the goddess Laufey, like, he's got a relationship with her and she's going to bear his children. And so like, we'll be able to do two things here, everybody. Number one, we're going to be able to start like, having a modern interpretation of Kratos, a more sophisticated, nuanced Kratos, one that cares about his son and blah, 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 horseshit, right? But also at the same time, we are planting the seeds so that we can tell a parallel story in 10 years time once we've developed this all the way out. Like, I swear to God, that is exactly what, like, that was the plan. And they were like, we're going to use these two games to establish, like, foothold in the idea that we actually give a shit about any of this stuff. And then we're just going to open Pandora's box, the idea that, oh, a girl is going to like go on this mythical, etherical journey through the Neverworld that could just be just about anything. And she'll be able to encompass like all these things. It's completely, I think Domino's said it best. He ordered a pepperoni passion minus the pepperoni. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Yeah. I'm going to, because here's the thing I want to show you guys. I sort of talked about this a little bit. I know a lot of people have already made this comparison, but this is what she looks like in the game.
Right.
Okay. And this is what the actress looks like. The same person.
Right.
Deborah Ann Wall, who I remember her from True Blood. Mm-hmm. That was when I first saw her. So they aged her up a lot. And I know Deborah Ann Wall is older, okay, but like they really like enhanced her.
Yeah,
let's say imperfections,
which is really weird too, considering that this is all in the afterlife, in this etherical realm. Wouldn't she be like her most kind of timeless self? Why are they not selling that? that part of it
because okay.
I know.
I talked about this in my video. I made a response video to David Jaffe's response to this that was more like where he basically felt like he had to make a video to explain to people that he's definitely not one of us. Definitely not one of us. But I basically explained that he was like, well, why would you guys do this? I don't think this is good for your marketing. And I'm like, because it's not about that.
Right.
And the reason why they did this to this actress, where she looks like this, where is it? Where she looks like this, is specifically because they are targeting the male gaze. They cannot have men liking attractive women in their media. That's all it is. It is because of the male gaze. They can't do it. So they got to make them about as imperfect as possible, bags under the eyes, wrinkles on the face, all of that. And not as in bad lighting. You guys remember Seinfeld?
Mm-hmm.
And Seinfeld was Jerry was dating a girl who, in certain lighting, she looked really like awful. And they would do that thing with the lighting. They would change it. Now, of course, Jerry was like a really shallow guy, but that was part of the joke. But I mean, it was like this all the time. Like that's what they did. Like they're putting her in bad lighting that is really harsh on her face, and they're adding wrinkles, and they're making her look old, and they're giving her bags under the eyes and all this other stuff, and no makeup. And I mean, not even like an attempt, right? And the hair is shaggy. She looks fucking dirty. Like she stinks a little bit. That's all because they're trying to essentially make her unappealing to men, full stop. Right. And they create this false dichotomy where if men say, or gamers say, well, they don't think that she looks attractive and they don't have a problem with that, then they say, oh, what do you want? Like a sex doll? It's like, no, we don't need that. We just want something that looks decent. Like you want, these are not mortal people. These are gods. Like, why do they look like this? And so like this is because it's purely 100% the male gaze, okay?
Yep.
And they try to make excuses like, oh, well, they didn't have makeup back then. Actually, yes, they did. But this, again, we're talking about gods. Like, yes, there was makeup in ancient Scandinavia. It existed. Right. Makeup has existed for as long as women have existed. So right. They were trying to find ways to make themselves look more attractive since the beginning of time. Like they've always been.
It's almost as if aesthetics is a value that women hold.
Yes. So they did this for the male gaze 100%. And because they're trying to pivot away, and this is like a classic mistake, they're trying to pivot away from the audience that actually supports this product.
Right.
And in Jaffe's video, he acknowledges that reality. He's like, it is still mostly, well, he said it was mostly men. Like he was trying to say that we marketed Kratos for men because it was mostly men that played the game. It was like a power fantasy. All that's true, right? And like I said, it's a blue collar thing. If you're a guy, God of War, the reason why it did well was because Jaffe was honest about who it was for and what its purpose was, right? It was a game where you basically like want to blow off steam, you want to kill a bunch of people, you play the game. It was like why I played that. It was why I played Dynasty Warriors. It was why I played, the old Devil May Cry games, whatever it was. And now they're acting like that was never the case. They're and of course he makes this mistake of thinking, well, Kratos is a power fantasy, and this is more of like but this doesn't work for female players, right? Like because he didn't think Kratos needed to be like made to look more attractive for women. It's like what, right. but guy, he is attractive because what women find appealing about men is not the same thing that men find appealing about women. Right. Women find high status men or men who can like basically destroy their enemies and protect them appealing regardless of what they look like. That like their looks are secondary to their fitness physically, and men like women for their attractiveness because they want to have good looking babies so they make sure that the next line proceeds, right? So like attractive babies increases your chance of essentially continuing your legacy. So there are different things that we look at and they treat it like the same because these people are delusional about biological reality. They don't think there's a difference between men and women, which is why they can make women look like men and men look like women. Assuming they can even define what a woman is.
Right.
Or a man, right? So So yeah, like that this is like without even getting into like the gelatinous cube character and the talking sword and the millennial writing like that and the combat looks good but generic. Like fighting, okay. One of the things that made the God of War games, the old ones, appealing was you had to figure out a way to stand apart from other action games, other hack and slash action games. And one of the ways you do that is not just like how you approach it mechanically, but also how you approach it in terms of like character design and the sort of combat design, right? So the combat design of the old God of War games was Kratos and his Blades of Chaos. It was a unique weapon that wasn't really in other games, right? It was like two big swords that were kind of like swords, but like kind of humongous daggers. I'm not really sure.
They were chained.
And they were attached by chains and they were around his arms. And he was like, you know, whipping like, because there were fights against really big monsters and he had a little guy. So he needed reach to sort of like make the combat flow. Because if he had like a small weapon and you're a really small guy, it wouldn't work. It was kind of like, you know, there was another older game called Rygar that many of you guys may not remember. Do you know what Rygar is?
Oh yeah,
I'm and you know, it was also an ancient Greek warrior, and he has like a shield with a chain on it, and he throws the shield out, and it was basically like that. But that was the inspiration for Kratos. Jaffe said that like Rygar was one of his inspirations. So that made that game franchise stand out because there was no other game that had those weapons like that in it, and it lent to the mechanics. Then you add on top of that like the god powers he would get, which is kind of like Mega Man, where you defeat a boss and you get their abilities, and you would take that to the end of the level and add to that like traversal stuff, like the kind of Metroidvania things. You learn this new ability, you can use it to go to this other place, whatever. So with this new game, she's got a sword. How many games have a sword already? Like right. I mean, like it has no character. Even the throwing axe that Kratos had in like the newer ones is a little bit better because it's like a returning axe, but it's still a step away. I remember when I played the first God of War remake and you get like the Chaos Blades. I just used those for the rest of the game. I was like, oh, right. I got my shit back. I'm gonna go with this now. It's very uninspired.
Oh, come on now. Come on. I mean, it shoots out trans flag pixie dust whenever you slash it. You know, come on. That's something.
Oh, yeah, right. It's not even the sword. It's the ribbon. Oh, right. Yeah, it's the ribbon. Does it get any gayer? Actually, yes, it does.
It does.
Allow me to show you. According to a Sony insider, God of War Laufey is about Kratos' wife who falls in love with Hela, Loki's sister, looking for the tree of love where they can breed a female Kratos.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude, please let this be real. Please. I really want this to happen. I really want this to be real. Let us all pray together. Okay.
Right.
In the name of the Father and of the Son.
I'm just rereading that, making sure that I've got it correct.
Please let this be real.
So Kratos' dead wife wants to hook up with another woman in the afterlife to have a son to replace Kratos. Please, yes. I never want anything so
I know.
much.
I want this to be true so bad. Please make it happen. I support this. I'm behind it. I'm an ally of this idea. Let's do it.
Please.
So here's the other thing too, is that like Kratos was able to bag like Aphrodite and he ends up with Laufey, who looks like shit. Like, how does that happen? Like,
he really likes her personality.
He bagged her in God of War 3,
right.
You know, and like a couple of other women. I mean, he obviously had a wife and kid before, but like, that's like a massive downgrade. Like that's like the biggest downgrade. And I think Deborah Ann Wall's an attractive woman, but they did her dirty. I wonder what she thinks about that. What does Deborah Ann Wall think about how she was being presented in the game? Looking like trash.
Right.
Does it matter? Nobody wants to hear her opinion, apparently. So I think that this is fucking cooked. This game is so it's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Can this be the end for Alana Pierce, please? And I know the answer
it's
is
the
no,
end for God of War.
unfortunately.
It's another
But
franchise that's dead now. I'm telling you, it's over. I don't. You know what? This is Sony's probably not going to learn from this, but they're going to have to lose more money, like they did with Uncharted.
I do got to give it to Alana Pierce, though. Never has someone in the gaming industry done so much with so little, to in terms of talent, skill, and ability from the get go. Like, she was just the hot girl on fucking Rooster Teeth, whatever their I can't remember the name. Their
Alana Pierce was.
Yeah, she used to be on their daily news break shit. I can't remember what they used to call it.
I didn't watch.
But yeah, that's where she got her start. She was just hot girl who says quippy things from time to time, and then that spun out to where she is now a writer in the game industry. But God, she's office girl hot at best. That's all it's ever been, and just I don't know. I suppose gotta take those opportunities when they come your way. So I guess I can't falter on that. I suppose if people were wishing to just throw gobs of money at me for basically just existing, I'd probably have a hard time not taking the money as well. But God, you know what? Kratos is a strong character, but I don't think that he's going to be able to defeat Alana Pierce is going to be his downfall. That's kind of hilarious. And it's not even him directly that she's attacking using. She's, a side character.
Yeah.
Absolutely laughable.
Absolutely comical. So let me see what you guys are saying about this. But yeah, this is just another in the long line of like franchises that Sony owned. Like I said, they've done this to God of War. They did this to Uncharted. They did this to
Ghosts.
What?
The Ghost series.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Yes, they did this to The Last of Us. And this is just next in line. So, and I think that just ends their franchises. It does. Yeah. And some of them, they tried when they tried to do original ideas like Horizon. I think those are dead too, and they're really trying to make them happen. Yeah. So, yeah, it's over. I think Guerrilla Games should go back to making kill zones. I think they should do a really good job, tell a good story. I bet it would sell.
That's right.
In my opinion, they just. I guess the problem is that there's so many first-person shooters now that you'd have to figure out a way to stand out. But maybe you can do something.
I don't know, like techno zombie fucking Nazis is not good enough. Like the Hellgas were last I checked, fairly, unique and interesting. At least
I like the Killzone universe. I thought they were telling a decent story. Yeah. I just don't. Maybe they don't know what to do with it themselves because they'd still have the fucking disease. So you'd have to probably you have to play as a female Hellgas that's gonna explain that the Hellgas are just misunderstood. And,
right. They just want voting rights.
They're not really bad guys, It's the humans are the real monsters. They're the white dudes. Yeah. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. Botch TV says, it's fine, but it's almost like they're just trying to appease people or at least make it look like so they can be like, yo, this is what you want, buy our game. Yeah, it is. It's a empty thing. Iris Rhoda says, "Oh balls, forgot you guys were on. Sorry. Hi. Well, what's up, man? I hope you're sticking around." I saw that comment earlier. I read the comments between stories, so I'm not ignoring you. I'm just waiting until it's time. Norwegian says, "God of War Laundry sounds like it would be a massive hit with women." You've seen the videos, right? The meme videos of her doing sweeping the ground and cooking and stuff. It's funny. Funny stuff. Ergo Proxy says, "I'm just happy I'm finally getting my Guild Wars 3. Cool. Uncharted got away with doing this because it was clear it was a small spin-off and not a main entry." They did, but I think what they were trying to do with that, and I never played that one. I never played that Uncharted game.
Establish a foothold.
They were trying to get their foot in the door.
If it sells well enough, then that gives us the reason.
It was like Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Right.
They basically wanted to see is this going to be a hit, and if it is, then we're going to make more of these.
Yeah,
and it
calculated
didn't.
risk.
I think Uncharted Lost Legacy, is that what it was called?
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't want to play it. Like the black chick in that is the worst character of all the Uncharted characters. She's the worst one, like by far, easily. You know, whatever you want to say about any of the other characters in the Uncharted franchise, that one is the most insufferable. So, and they tried to make her, you know, I don't know, was she playable or whatever. Like I said, I didn't play those games. I'm like, look, if it's not Nate and Sully, I don't give a shit. Norwegian says, I must have missed the magical cubes on my walks in the Norwegian woods. The magical cubes voiced by a Quaid, no less.
That's right. You have to dig down a few inches, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely something. Let's see. Iris Rhoda says Frank was the name of a fictional therapist in the UK designed to keep kids away from illicit pharmaceuticals. I hope to get in the Guild Wars 3 beta. Well, I have some betas I'm going to recommend a little bit later. Okay, let's see. Nobafan gave us another $1. Thank you, Nobafan. Appreciate it. On Rumble, and says, I just realized the Zelda CDI games had more respect for both Link and the franchise, even when they made Zelda the main character. God of War was just meant to be fun. It doesn't need to be deep. Oh no, it's all deep now. It's all deep now. It's very important because they want to win awards, guys. Remember, they're already saying that God of War Laufey could be Game of the Year. They're already like, we don't even have gameplay. We just have a trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I think that it's basically there's going to be a genre of video games that's going to be like Oscar bait for movies. We're just going to call it like GDC bait, and it's basically made with that in mind to win awards. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's good. Like Mixtape is a perfect example. If that could win Game of the Year.
Yeah, and just think about the other awesome potential that they have with this game. You know, by going and creating a never space where all pantheons of gods can coexist, then all religions can be simultaneously undermined and converted into.
I wonder if there's going to be any Hindu gods in this game,
right?
Like, well, I'm just saying because I think Jaffe commented on that, like, you know, that he didn't dislike the idea that there'd be like these different, because they already did that with when they I don't say rebooted, but whatever, when they made the newer God of War game, they already basically like set the precedent by saying, oh, look, there's other gods and they also exist. So this is just taking that the next step. But in Jaffe's original vision for the God of War games, there was only the Greek myths.
Right.
And that was, but they...
And so that in of itself, like the intention is everything. And once they got away from the original core intention of just respecting the concept of the Roman mythology, or the Greek mythology rather, to tell these God of War stories within that framework. Once they made that compromise, it was immediately just like, oh no, God of War is just a brand label. Doesn't really fucking matter. All this stuff is interchangeable. It could be a Hindu god. Why not? You know what? Well, I hope Jesus is just walking around in the background somewhere. He's like, hey guys,
that's why I brought up the Hindu thing, because I wonder if like they're gonna do like mythologies that are essentially like dead religions, like pagan religions, or if they're going to go into like anything that currently exists. We're going to see Allah in the game. I hope so. Let's do it, guys. Give us Allah. Put him in the game. Put Muhammad in there. Put Muhammad in the game. Make Laufey like fight against him, and then like he because he wants to put her in a hijab, and she's like, no, I'm a Jotun. Like my Jotun mother before me, her and Hela are gonna like push back. Okay. Iris Rhoda says, "Oh, old Jaffe Cake is still knocking about." Yes, of course. I made 2 videos about him. You should watch him on my channel. Well, I made one at least that's specifically about him, but I made another one before that's related. So let's see. Botch TV says they turned her ugly. Same with MJ in Spider-Man 2. Yes, and Jean Grey in the Wolverine game.
Oh God,
both avoid is what I would say. If they can make a black Norwegian god, they can make gods unhumanly attractive. That's true. Good point. Botch TV says goddesses were breathtakingly beautiful, usually depicted this way. Yes, because they were gods. If you could like change shape, just like that alone, why wouldn't you make yourself attractive?
Yeah,
It
I
was
hear when you
stupid.
buy the Steelbox
But the male
version.
games, though, that's really what it comes down to.
I hear when you buy the Steelbox version of Wolverine exclusively for PlayStation, which does not include the actual game disc, but it does include a 1-year supply of Midol for all your, aches and pains in that time of the month, ladies.
Yep.
There you go.
Iris Rhoda says no problem with female lead characters, but they should be good looking, as should male lead characters. Games are entertainment. FFS. If I want to see uggos, I'll nip out to the pub or the supermarket. Yeah, I mean that's obvious, and I'm not shaming you for saying that, but like when you say I don't have a problem with female characters, you understand that you're like walking into their framework because they're the ones accusing us of not liking that, which is completely untrue. And they also don't have to be goon bait either. But we know when, like, you don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. I know that you're putting ugly characters in the game on purpose because it's kind of a shit test. Like, are you going to react to this?
Right.
And all I'm going to do is not buy it. And I'm going to be like, look, this is ugly. I'm not buying this. Especially, it's crazy, too, because we're at, like, the point now where we have, like, the ability to do graphic fidelity at such an incredible, like, ability. And we're using it like this. We're squandering it. Well, not all of us, because I mean, I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. But yeah, just be aware that like you're walking into their framework when you say, "Well, look, I don't have." Obviously, nobody does.
They went you on the
Nobody
back
does.
foot,
Like
assuming
nobody's
it's
saying
offensive.
that there shouldn't be like that. Tomb Raider games should feature a dude. Nobody's saying that future Metroid should have a dude. Nobody's saying that. So it's sort of like you're arguing against a position that no one has taken, because they are claiming that you have taken that position, and it's just not true. Botch TV says, I wanted to be Kratos because he's a badass, whereas a bunch of women love him, hence the scene in Ghosts of Sparta where he comes home and screws like 8 to 10 women at once.
Yeah, I played God of War.
He just got to release, he's got to release the pressure.
Yeah,
and this is the thing too, is that like the way that women and men enjoy games is different too. The way that they enjoy fiction is different. So when men, let's say, when boys play with toys, okay? So when a boy plays with a Batman doll or a Batman action figure, he wants to be like Batman. Like he basically says, I want to be like this. I want to, I want to be Batman. So he wants to live it out. Like the Batman Arkham games are big hits because they're the closest thing to being Batman. Like you get to do all the stuff that Batman does. And the male players, that was made with them in mind. When women play games, they want the characters to be more like them. So it's not like, it's the opposite. Like men want to be more like the character.
What is it like when Batman
women want
has
the character to be more like them? So
and
if you give a
expresses his
girl,
feelings?
if you give a girl a Batman doll, then her Batman doll is going to be going to tea parties and shopping and doing like whatever she wants Batman to do, not what Batman does. So that's the reason for like why this is. And no one has, I mean, it's fine, like I don't care if you can give a girl an action figure, and if she's a normal girl, she's not like she's gonna make that action figure do like regular like girly things like a Barbie doll would do, you know. And if you give a boy a Barbie doll, he'll just pull the legs off of it,
which is also part of the reason why they talk about the whole idea of like these are mantles and titles, because it's just an interchangeable dress to the women that are making those decisions. It's something that they wear because ultimately the power was within them all the time, and the costumes are relevant, but it should fit a woman. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Bosch TV says, mind you, Aphrodite was screwing other women, so he could have had those other women too. Oh, you mean, yes, she was. He did. Like, I mean, in the mini game, it's basically all those women. And again, he's still settled with, Laufey. Her opinion can't come out since it could impact sales, thus her revenue. Yes, I know she's not going to say anything, but I don't think that she's thrilled. If she gets if they put a microphone in her face and they say what you think, she's going to toe the line.
Get a PR answer.
I wouldn't sweat it. She's going to toe the line and say, oh, I think that ball body shit. I look like that sometimes.
It was great being involved. I really had a wonderful time. Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah.
yeah.
Some kind of non-answer. Yeah.
Some devs know what they're doing. Tifa in the next Street Fighter. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy Street Fighter 6 still. I'm gonna wait until. Well, I'll explain that later. But Dark Kikimora gives us $5 and says, "Does this mean that me hating the PS2 and refusing to play it for killing the Dreamcast is finally worth it? Never played God of War game, dude. The PS2 is the best console of all time. When it comes to consoles, the best one is PS2.
In terms of price performance,
in terms of
for
price,
what you're getting,
performance, library, like the PS2 was peak.
Yeah.
I get that you like. I have a Dreamcast as well, and I get that like you could be annoyed at that, but the PS2 was the better console. Like the Dreamcast is a good console, although the controller was shit. I hated it, but like the PS2 was the better console overall. Let's see. I had a girlfriend, Iris Rhoda says, I had an ex-girlfriend who said Odo is the hottest Star Trek character because he can be anything. Ugh, that still haunts me. Great Indoors says, make Muhammad be the owner of a snack bar called Aloha. Botch TV says, I mean, Aphrodite is literally the goddess of love and sexuality, so I think I'm going to go with that one. Why? Because I'm not gay. Yes. Yeah, I know. And here's another thing, too. I forgot to mention about God of War Laundry. They're trying to retcon the first game in the new series of God of War games too, because and I said this in my video, but I'm going to reiterate it here really quick. In the God of War, when did that first God of War come out? 2018, 2016? I can't remember.
Somewhere around there. It was, I think it was shortly
the first one with Atreus. Boy,
yeah, Dad of War. I think it was
Dad of War.
Right
the first,
October.
Yeah, we'll call it Dad of War. The first Dad of War game came out, and it opens with Kratos burying Laufey, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole beginning of the game is the burial of Laufey.
Yeah,
and so it's like him. So she's dead when the game starts, right. And I think there's some flashbacks to her or something.
She's effectively booting up for this series. At the beginning of the reboot.
Yeah, so this is a parallel story that starts in the same point in time as when Kratos buries her in the first Dad of War game. So here's what I think is also going on here. So remember when I talked about the male gaze. There's another feminist concept called women in refrigerators. And women in refrigerators is when it's a trope, a sexist trope that depicts a female character is killed off to motivate or begin the story for the protagonist, which is a male character. Right. Okay.
Well, we're going to come to learn that Luffy's life didn't really begin until after it ended.
Yeah. Exactly. They're gonna because they think it's sexist that she died to motivate Kratos. So even the progressive people that started the new Dad of War series were not progressive enough because they killed off a character to start their story, which was ultimately the Dad of War games are about toxic masculinity, which is like the main thing they were targeting with the new God of War games.
Right.
But now that's been done, Kratos confronted his old self in God of War Ragnarok and said, "You're a fool, and I would never be like you." Basically saying, if you like the original God of War games, you're a piece of shit.
Right.
And now they're going to have Laufey kind of like, in this afterlife, in this everwhere or whatever the fuck it is, they're going to try to make up for the sexist stuff that happened with her dying, the refrigerator thing happening in the first game in the Dad of War series. So that's the purpose of this. This is just them trying to course correct on that. That's why they're going to try and make this a thing. They're going to make her a thing. So that's another thing. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. Thanks, guys. We're going to move on to the next story. And let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. So this was unexpected.
I'm a rough ride.
Why?
Rest in peace, Tupac.
Tupac.
God damn, dude.
It's going to be in Stranger Than Heaven, the new action-adventure game from RGG Studios, the people who made the Yakuza games. It's a star-studded period crime drama spanning 1915 through 1965 across multiple Japanese cities. And it's not just Tupac that's in the game. It's fucking Snoop Dogg is in the game, also appearing as characters.
We get Biggie
Tupac's
Smalls
inclusion
in
was
there, too.
done with
Come
full
on.
approval and supervision from his estate based on archival photos and footage. No AI was used for the model, guys. So you can rest easy. AI was not involved in this.
Man, I really want Biggie Smalls in there too, man. Like, I want to put an end to this East-West beef, you know.
I just don't get, like, why did they think this was a good idea? Somehow Tupac returned.
Right? He's been dead nearly 30 years. Now's the time for him to research.
First is a giant hologram, like a Force hologram, and now he's in like ancient, like early 20th century Japan for some reason. Like, what?
Well, you see, when he died in the late 90s, his soul was free to travel the neverwhere, you know, and he now gets to right wrongs throughout time and space, kind of like Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Oh no, I'm retarded. I just like what does anyone have any idea why this was a choice that they made?
2026, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, I guess so. And it gets weirder. So not only is the Yakuza team put Tupac and Snoop Dogg in a Yakuza game, but they put fucking Wiz Khalifa in a Hitman game. Look, I get that the brothers like video games. Okay.
Every game come with a rapper now.
Yeah, right. Am I gonna get tongue twister in like Resident Evil Code Veronica remake? Is he gonna show up as a playable character?
Right.
And look, and on top of that, like Wiz Khalifa, has he been relevant in the last 10 years? Like what? Isn't this the black and yellow guy? Like I was going to college when this guy was big. What? Why? And on top of that, in the trailer, dude, the guy, Wiz Khalifa's character is doing Muay Thai in like a tournament or like an MMA match. This is like an MMA thing. And he's doing like Muay Thai. And I'm like, no, I don't think Wiz Khalifa knows Muay Thai. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I was gonna go on a limb and say, that ain't happening. So I just wanted to share that. I think it's my
heart is lightened. I just don't understand. Thank you so much.
I don't understand. Like this is a complete mystery to me. You know what it's like. You know what it's like. It's like what they did with Fatal Fury. Was it the new Fatal Fury game where they put like the fucking soccer player in there and like this like DJ, and I'm like, what? Why are these like I like the Fatal Fury franchise, but what the hell is with these special characters? It's like when they put Nicki Minaj in like a Call of Duty game. Didn't they do that? Like, but guys,
they did at one point. Yeah, that they
stop it. No, there's lots of rappers and musicians that are just like in games. Makes me wonder, like, was there? Because I know that they've been doing this for a while. There are some like old examples that were interesting and really novel at the time, but this is just weird. Dr. Dre is a playable character in Dr. Mario. Is he? No, that you're.
Well, I mean, he is a fellow. You know, he is also. He's also a practitioner. You know, it's doctor. It's right there in the name. You know.
Oh gosh.
Personally, I can't wait to get the Travis Scott edition of Tetris. Is really what I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just. It's. I have no words. I just saw that and I was like, guys, what are you doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Okay. All right. So I got one more kind of, I guess I could say, serious story. And then I got some cake. So, because like it was just too much to cover. But I do want to bring up some highlights from the Summer Games Fest and the Sony State of Play. that I think were interesting. I don't know if there was much from Sony State of Play. There might have been, but just some things that I thought were actually there is one thing, but we'll get into that in a second. But first, let me see what you guys are saying. Then we're going to move on to the next story. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. Yeah, that's Laufey. We covered that. So let me see what you guys are saying. I'm going to move on to the next one.
Yes.
Darky Gamora says, I have a PS3, but I want an Xbox 360 controller adapter for it. Well, okay, maybe it just depends on what kind of games you like to play. So me, I'm a big fighting game guy. And so the D-pad has to not shred my thumb. And the Dreamcast D-pad is like it's like a series of razors. Like it's way too sharp. So I need a good D-pad. And the PlayStation has always had a really good D-pad. And I like it more than the Xbox One too, because that one's also not the best. The Dreamcast one is pretty bad. If you're talking about analog sticks, then it's sort of irrelevant. It just depends on the kind of game you like. So for me, I like the D-pad on the PlayStation. Okay. Let's see. Master Goa says, my interest in Stranger Than Heaven dropped dramatically. Master Goa says, Virtua Fighter Crossroads looks promising still, though. Yeah, I don't like the character choices. And look, I tried to get into Virtua Fighter.
Hold on.
Never get into it.
It's called Crossroads? This is their chance to get Bone Thugs and Harmony, man.
There's a chance we can get Bone Thugs and Harmony. But one of the characters that they featured looks like he's part of that group. But
right.
Weird choice. It looks
meet you at the crossroads.
But my problem with Virtua Fighter is the matches are really short. Like they move too fast. There's only 3 buttons, and I think that it limits, like to me anyway, it limits like how deep you can get. I personally, for those kinds of fighting games, those like 3D fighting games, I tend to like Tekken more mechanically. Although I didn't get Tekken 8, but like Tekken as a franchise, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, best Tekken game. And I think that nothing's quite matched that in my opinion, but that's just me. I had Virtua Fighter 4. I think one of the other Virtua Fighter 2, I just couldn't get into it. It was too simple, and the jump, it was floaty. And I thought that Tekken and Dead or Alive are better for that. Although Dead or Alive is kind of more like also like a popcorn type fighting game, but still a good time. Ergo Proxy says, I hope Tupac sings sad karaoke songs like Kiryu. Norwegian says, where is Coolio? That'll be in the new Mafia game. He'll be in the DLC, Gangsters Paradise.
Paradise, right?
Botch TV says, Tupac said they can't do nothing to a G, so he appeared in... Iris Rhoda says, I was once lucky enough to have a conversation with Az. We agreed Dreamcast was the most underrated console ever. It is. I mean, it deserved more. I think that there's a number of factors, but I don't. You can't blame Sony for having like a better console.
Yeah,
because I think the GameCube deserved better too. Yeah. But it just couldn't. It couldn't.
They hedged their bets. They hedged their bets with the Dreamcast and kind of went into business with Microsoft. That's the reason why Windows CE is the kernel that they built the operating system on, which is also part of the reason why everything ended up going over to Xbox when it ultimately, didn't resoundingly profit and as a successful platform. So this is mismanagement stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. You could make like a whole series on what went wrong with Sega in a very short period of time that really has long-term effects.
Yeah. Mr. 0303 says Eminem in the Black Panther game. Yeah, I want you to team up with him, and he comes out and says, now it looks like a job for me, so everybody come follow me. Because we need a little controversy, because it feels so empty without me. Ergo says, at least Shaquille tried to act in movies. Rappers are always 100% themselves. Yes, of course. But they're not really themselves. They're like a kind of like harder, fictional version of themselves. Like they're tougher than they actually are. It's cringe. In before, Capcom reveals that Snoop Dogg was the one leaving herbs all over the place in Resident Evil. Ergo says the Cellar Blade Studio knows what's up with character design. Yes, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Iris Rhoda says, I love Virtua Fighter, especially 2. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I like having a lot of moves that are really kind of like, I don't know, cool. I want fights to look like, you know, awesome. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but I do think it's got a high skill ceiling maybe for Virtua Fighter. Yeah, Saturn controller was great on Virtua Fighter 1 and 2. I love Dreamcast because of Shenmue. Dark Kikimura says you need a first-party Saturn pad with no stick plus USB adapter. Wow, this is getting a little... You guys are all like deep diving into old console stuff. Okay. Well, thank you guys for your comments. We're going to move on to the next one. So I thought because it is Men's Mental Health Month, Pride Month, we would look at this. So GLAAD CEO. Do you guys know what GLAAD is? You know what GLAAD is?
Yeah, the Gay Lesbian Alliance of something.
Yeah. So it's basically like a is it a not-for-profit? Is it like a NGO? I don't know.
Yeah.
But they have a CEO, so it is something that makes money. And GLAAD CEO, Sarah Kate Ellis, was at an Axios AI New York Summit on June 3rd and said that AI has been trained on biased data that can reinforce harmful stereotypes and spread misinformation about LGBTQ plus people. She warned that we're rising anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric, especially targeting trans and non-binary communities.
Well, you have to forgive the computers. They operate primarily in binaries. So
They all, yeah. Right.
It's either on or it's off, dude. I don't know.
That's harmful stereotypes like reality.
Right.
AI models are absorbing information during training, this anti-gay rhetoric or LGBTQ plus rhetoric, potentially amplifying attacks and extending harm beyond digital spaces into real-world consequences. Ellis previewed an upcoming GLAAD report with recommendations for reducing bias, stressed the need for accurate foundational models like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, strong privacy controls, noting risks in countries where being LGBTQ is illegal, and greater investment in responsible training, arguing that properly representing LGBTQ plus people would benefit everyone by building broader trust in AI. So they're trying to convince these, AI companies that, we have to do something about all this truth going around. And what is the violence that AI could be used for? Like, in what way are people being harmed by this? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I have something that I want to share with you guys. But first, let me do a quick refresh here. I think this will work. And I have this video that Sean Strickland made, or maybe this really happened. I'm not really sure. But let's take a look. Let me see if there's sound.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of UFC.
It's an AI video. Bud Light did not have anything to do with this.
Right.
But Sean Strickland is the current UFC champion. He beat some Muslim guy like last week or something like that and won the world champion. He's an American from California, absolute patriot. Not exactly the most articulate guy, but then he's somebody who's been hit
in the head for a living. So
yeah. And he said, I've yet to see one rainbow flag. We're back, Strickland said. Say what you want about Trump, but June has got far less gay. I mean, no lies detected. I'm sorry, but that's true. Anyway, so you have any thoughts on either Sean Strickland's video or this story of this person essentially trying to control AI or use it in some way.
Well, the meme's funny and on point. I do appreciate that, and anything that comes from Axios, you could just interpret as this is a UN talking point that we need to get established, and you all need to start recognizing the message.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
But,
yes.
Yeah, it is a hard thing to deal with when the whole point of AI in theory is to give you factual analysis on things to help kind of filter through all the various forms of spin and just ideological manipulation that might be at play. Yeah, I could see how people who are concerned about troon activist activities might have a little bit of a problem with that, I suppose.
The primary concern is, I think, for me, is that they want to essentially use AI to control information.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 2
And,
+ 2 = 5.
Yeah, and that's the main issue. It's just like a principle thing. I don't
Right.
care that you're gay.
Right.
Keep it to yourself. But like you're basically saying, people should not be thinking for themselves or sharing this information.
That's right.
I mean, and unfortunately, the other thing too is that people are going they're already using AI like a crutch in a way. A lot of people. I mean, I think it's a tool. It has its uses. I've used it. Obviously,
like any tool, it can be used responsibly, or however you just kind of freewheel it. So yeah, it's
But yeah, I mean, this is just not, it's not really anything shocking. Like, they basically want to control the information. They want, because ultimately they need to justify themselves, because GLAAD gets paid for this stuff. Like, even doing this activism, even coming to this panel and saying, we need you guys to do this work, even if nothing comes of it, they get paid for that appearance anyways. So it's just part of what it is. They have to justify their existence by constantly finding new things to complain about or problematize.
AI isn't speaking with enough emotional intelligence.
Yes,
it's focused on logical intelligence, and that's just that's no good.
Yep.
AI really needs some media literacy courses, some sensitivity training.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's see what you guys are saying. That's the last story. We're gonna look at some cake now. This is a lot of stuff that was announced recently or recently released.
Indeed.
That I want to highlight, and I thought was kind of cool. So let's see what you guys are saying. Looks like you guys are still talking about controllers and stuff. So, interesting you bring up the Dreamcast though, because I am going to talk about a game that was only available on Dreamcast that is going to be getting a remake and is going to be coming to consoles, like modern consoles and PCs. So that's kind of exciting. Let's see. Yeah, you guys aren't talking about what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I just see.
started a side quest.
Norwegian says the Orange God Emperor protects during the month of June. Yes. GLaDOS. AI is when a blonde dyes her hair dark, right? Yes, that's right. Okay. Botch TV says Tupac said to Snoop, hey man, I got around, came from the underground. All right, so let's get into some cake here, and I think that this could be kind of cool. All right, so let's start with Gothic Remake. So
what's hilarious about the Tupac thing? He started his foray into media as part of the Digital Underground, and he now returns as part of the Digital Underground. He used to be a background dancer for the Humpty Dance. It's just like all the way back when.
Yes, that's true. So anyway, this is Gothic Remake. So there was this, I guess it's like a really precedent-setting game called Gothic that I never heard of before until like a couple of years ago when I had on, I was doing interviews with these Game Jam guys, I think, and there was one guy who was showing off a new game, and I think it was the Crowned and Steel guys, which I'm still waiting for their game to like see when it comes out. I love that. Crowned and Steel is very cool. And he said that he was inspired by Gothic, and I'm like, and it was not just him, but it was also the guys that did the Great Rebellion. They're working on something, I think. Oh no, it wasn't them. It was the Knight's Path. The developers of Knight's Path as well were talking about Gothic, because I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of, and I think I mentioned like like an Oblivion, like a Elder Scrolls, and they're like, no, like they were thinking about Gothic. So Gothic's been remade, and I don't know if you guys like have an interest in that, but it looks like it's mostly got positive reviews, and it is a remake of the original Gothic. Return to the Valley of the Minds in this faithful remake of the genre-defining RPG.
Nice.
Explore a handcrafted organic open world that reacts dynamically to your actions in a gritty, unrestricted experience like no other.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Well, I vaguely recall Gothic from way back in the day, but never really got the chance to play much of it. So that's good to know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I guess because it is still in, it just came out, but there is like a new.
And anything that was on the
together like a
Dreamcast would
patch.
definitely be benefited with a second analog controller. So I'm all for that.
Say what?
I say any game that was on Dreamcast will always be benefited by modern controls because the lack of a second analog quite limiting.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that was that one. I'm not gonna watch any trailers right now. So we're just gonna look at some stills and stuff. But Norwegian says, I wanted to play Gothic, but never got around to it. Mr. 303 says they desexualized the hookers. Well, according to Pirate Nation, the Gothic remake developer confirms the ugly women in the game were a work in progress and have been altered, along with some surprises, according to him. A gamer asked if the game is still censored. Developer replied, there was never censored, just work in progress stuff in a video. Just check the women on the elevator. And we also got some nice surprises. So they have fixed this issue. So it's not an issue anymore. So that was here. Let me see if I can look at these images up close.
Oh yeah. I remember us mentioning this previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've confirmed that they have fixed the issue. Expose news. We don't take spam here, so you are gone. Sorry, but I don't have time for that. Okay. So yeah, apparently they addressed it. I guess we'll have to see. Maybe there's updated footage or whatever out there, but the developers are aware of the issue and they say that they have addressed it. All right. Let's see what else you guys are saying. I don't like surprises with my hookers. All right. Next up, we got Stellar Blade Blood Rain.
Yeah.
And this one is triggering the usual suspects.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no Steam page for it yet, but what?
Oh, of course. I mean, look. Obviously, this is a whole bunch of problems. Clearly.
So, this game, yeah. Hello. This game, I saw the trailer. Check out the trailer for it. So it looks like it's more of the same style of game in terms of the genre. So in the original Stellar Blade, you played as Eve, and it was basically, I think it was the first game by that developer. Oh no, they made the Nike Goddess of Victory games, but those are gacha games. This was their first, I guess, a real, a full console experience. And it was an action game, and I think it was a very formidable one. Not the greatest one ever played, but it was a solid experience. Lots of content, and it has a new game plus and everything. I'm actually playing a new game plus right now, and there's actually more things you can unlock, more costumes, more abilities. So they do know how to competently make a game. And this looks like it's going to be more of that, although the melee is a little bit different. It's instead of using a sword, which is what Eve used in the first one, this character named Evie is using her fists, it looks like, or at least in the first trailer we get. She has like a gauntlet or something, and you do like boxing combos. But it still looks like a really good game. And of course, people are not thrilled. Polygon had this to say: Stellar Blade 2 looks just as horny and intense as the first one. Blood Rain will star a new protagonist. And of course, they're trying to claim that because the character looks attractive, she must be an underage girl that, you know, only pedos are interested in. But yes, I think this is going to be a solid experience. I think that these guys, they did well. This looks like a really solid entry into the franchise. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, John.
I mean, I definitely look forward to what is to come. I can't say I'm at all surprised by people that are spurting about it. That was clearly like, you know, like just even an announcement, even without even seeing anything, they probably would have gone off. But you know, Asian women do have you know, a resilience in the age factor. Kind of, they can manage quite a good number of years before age really starts to catch up with them. So, you know, they tend to just look a little bit more youthful. That's just kind of, you know, a characteristic of their, you know, their race. So, you know, trying to say that it's anything else could actually kind of be read as Asian hate. Maybe stop that, huh? Fucking woke fuckers.
All right, let me see what you guys are saying about this. Ergo says Stellar Blade looks and plays super nice, though it tries to be Nier Automata and fails for not being subtle at all. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's fine. Like, they did a crossover, so they obviously were aware of the parallels. And by that I mean they tell you the plot twist every time, and they can way too openly. Yeah, okay, but I mean, I play for the gameplay mostly, so Stellar Blade gets a sequel, Women Most Affected. Master Goa says, I heard Asmongold thinks she is 12, but I don't care to look into it because I'm not a fan of the Roach King. I mean, I think that he's mistaken. She's probably an android, which means her age is sort of irrelevant.
You know,
so.
even though Asmongold may look like Jesus, I don't take every word that he speaks.
Yeah.
It's like something that I have to be devoutly worshiping.
Yeah. Furious Dan says this is going to be a good game. Yes, and it's also going to piss off the right people. Botch TV said, watch this game do well like the last one. Yeah, it will. It will.
Even
I hope
more
they
so.
improve the writing because the gameplay already looks great. I mean, look, I don't need the writing to be fantastic. I just need the game to be fun. So,
Yeah.
and
actually,
I think that it's going to do that probably.
Yeah. And I think it'll be even more impressive in terms of the initial sales numbers, just simply because it is not going to be exclusively in the domain of PlayStation for 6 months to a year. It's going to be a wide scale release everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
So that'll help.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next thing. Another thing that came out was an announcement for a new Cuphead.
Ooh, hey.
So they've actually announced 2 new games. First of all, they're developing a Cuphead sequel, which we don't know anything about it, but they're working on it. So it's basically just announced it is in progress. But there's also another game called Mighty Cuphead Adventure, which is sort of like an 8-bit Cuphead game. That's a nod to the games that have basically like laid the groundwork for this, you know, like Mario and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. It looks pretty cool too, and they did a nice, cute little announcement for it. So yeah, I thought maybe if you like Cuphead and you're not one of those people that was scared off by the challenge, then it's not a bad game at all. It's good, and it's not that hard. I think that's a little overstated, you know. I think that we're just a little spoiled by like how easy games are these days. So,
yeah, thankfully most of us do not work for IGN, so we were able to make it out of the tutorial section.
Yes. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Master Go says, I don't think Stellar Blade was honestly as great as people say. I got Stellar Blade day 1. And it was fine, but no anywhere. Well, I don't know what people are exactly claiming. I
I
enjoyed
don't
the
think I don't
game.
recall anybody ever saying that it was like the greatest game of all time. Though.
No,
They
no.
you know
I mean, I finished it and I was very thorough in my playthrough. And I think that any game that I'll play through and finish is probably like relatively solid because a lot of times I'll get bored and stop playing for a while, or whatever. I just won't like really get into it. But if the game is paced well and it's like there's a lot things to do, I'll probably get hooked in if it's addictive enough. So
yeah.
I wouldn't say that Stellar Blade is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I think it's actually quite a solid experience.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that had there not been the overreaction that came to pass with when the first one released, it probably would have been more similar to like when Bayonetta came out. It would have had like a good cult following of people that really liked it. But I think that it actually was benefited through the Streisand effect. Because of so many people sitting here trying to tear down what was ostensibly just a solid game that was just doing the things. It wasn't trying to change the world by any stretch of the imagination or make any, kind of like, grand proclamations about how it was the best thing ever. But there was more than enough people that were going after it unnecessarily. And so I think more people felt the resolve to actually stand up for a game that was more focused on just being a game first and devoid of messaging bullshit. And so, and so ultimately, like the crowd that pissed and moaned about it the most actually did it more of a service than any kind of hindrance in the long term. But yeah, just a solid game.
I think, yeah, I enjoyed it. I recommend it. And also, yes, I am also partly saying that it pisses off the right people. So I'm okay with that too. I want that studio to keep growing. So I think that if the next game, this Blood Rain game, has, they go deeper into the combat system, like add more to it, maybe even add different weapons. I think that would be a really cool thing to watch. I want to see them grow as a company. This is like
Stellar
basically,
Blade.
like I said, it's their first real game.
Yeah,
so I mean, considering what that is, I don't hold it against them.
Yeah, the success of Stellar Blade is kind of similar to when the market was trying to destroy GameStop, and people were like, "Fuck that! I got diamond hands," and they just held on to it out of spite, almost. So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I look forward to see what they do. All right. Next up, we got Alien Isolation 2. And so Alien Isolation is an excellent game. And I didn't finish it yet because I tried to stream it on Halloween and I go through blind. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably stream it in October. Yeah. And keep playing the first one. But it looks like this is probably just going to be another really great entry. The second entry in this franchise. The Alien games have been cooking lately, not just with Alien Isolation, but obviously they had recently announced
Fire Team. Excellent.
Yeah, so it's going to be good. Alien Isolation 2 is essentially the sequel to the first game. You're being stalked by a xenomorph. They use AI, or they had an AI programmed into the original xenomorph, which basically was two AIs, I think, that would switch personalities while you were stalking trying to escape the ship or whatever you were on. I don't know how they're going to enhance it in this one because now the technology has been improved quite a bit, and they may actually have literally an AI that's more sophisticated. So I have to see how they do that, but that also looks pretty good. I guess I will give a shout out to this next game as well. Well, let me see what you guys are saying here real quick. Iris Rhoda says, give me turn-based JRPGs, 2D platformers, Tomb Raider, and arcade racers. Well, there you go. That's why, probably. What did you think about games like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, or hack and slash games, God of War, etc.? Let's see. Master Girl says, Bayonetta was always amazing, though. Bayonetta is a better game than Stellar Blade. Yeah, sure. I think Stellar Blade's hype is mostly due to not much else being out to compete with it. All right.
I'm
Here's
not
Rhoda
even disputing
says,
that.
okay,
I'm
that
just,
looks nicely atmospheric. I played Alien Trilogy on Saturn, Alien 3 on Genesis, both great. Yeah, those are good. I might have to get Alien Isolation if it's good. Oh, the first one is excellent, but it's a horror game. There's a lot of hiding and stuff. If you're okay with that, I think you are, then you'll probably enjoy yourself. All right. Next up, we got Guild Wars 3 was announced. So this is an MMO. I'm not really an MMO guy anymore. I used to be, but they're just way too much of a time sink for me. But yeah, apparently the Guild Wars franchise has always been one of those that's like, you know, it's got its fan base. It's kind of like a cult following. It's not like World of Warcraft. It's not Final Fantasy 14, or whatever other MMOs kids are playing right now. I don't even know. Like, you know, but I only know about those that are currently being played. But this one, Guild Wars 3, is looking like it looks good too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I thought I would show that one off if you guys are into MMOs. The thing about MMOs is that, like, if you're playing that, you're not playing anything else.
Right. Especially once you get to a certain age in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes the level of dedication that I can't sign on for.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Next up, I got to talk about this. Resident Evil Veronica. So this is the game that I mentioned before that it was the original Code Veronica was an exclusive to the Dreamcast, and I missed the Dreamcast generation, so I missed my chance to get it, and I never really got around to picking it up. And now they're remaking it because Capcom is going to remake all of their Resident Evil games. It looks like,
Except for 5.
they're going to do 5, I think.
Really?
I think they're going to do 5. I hope they do 5.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope they don't change a
5.
thing.
I want to bring that. I want to bring that back.
Right.
Come on. Come on.
Let's bring back the come-ons. Come on.
Come on.
But yeah, Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now we don't know anything about it yet, but some people have speculated. I think they're also going to remake Resident Evil 0 that was like on the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are speculating that Code Veronica remake may have like a 2-player co-op or something. The RE5 is where the zombies are the good guys. No, Chris was just engaged in a little bit of ethnic cleansing. It's not a big deal.
That's right. They're not even zombies, everybody. They're just on fentanyl.
Yeah, they're not zombies. They're just you know, they're just like indigenous peoples.
That's right.
That were like badly misrepresented. So yes, the trailer for this didn't show much. There wasn't a like cause for excitement based on that because they're trying to be subtle. But I think that it's probably going to be pretty solid. I'm excited for Code Veronica. And Code Veronica X. I didn't. Is that like a sequel to Code Veronica? The final rock will be modeled after Saint Floyd. The boulder. Chris is in Code Veronica, right? He is going to be in it, like a younger Chris. So yeah, dude. That look, I'm. Some people are Leon people. I'm a Chris person. I'm a Chris stan. So give me Chris Redfield. Right. I'm all in. I played him in Resident Evil Village 5. It was 5 that sold me though. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. But I'm excited for that. I just think that that's kind of neat. So I'm interested in that. Then we have, I don't know that there's much I can show here. I guess here, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, which is another Final Fantasy remake, in like an installment in a series of games, part of the Final Fantasy VII remake franchise. So my thing with this is that I played the first one and I liked it. I know that they did some stuff with the story that, you know, probably divided people a lot. But what I think my plan is with this, because I don't know where this is going, is what I'm assuming is going to happen is Square is going to release all of these, like however many games it takes to do the whole series, to essentially get the entirety of Final Fantasy VII into like they're gonna release them all in however many installments, and then after a while, they're gonna probably just release like a, I don't know, like the whole thing as one thing. It's kind of like you know how like those episodic games like The Walking Dead, they will release episodes, and then like after a lot of time has passed and people have moved on to other things, they'll release the whole thing as one collection.
Right.
They'll probably do that with this, and
Awesome.
depending on how much it is and whether or not the hype is worth it, that might be when I take an interest in checking it out. But it's not really something I'm all that like interested in right now. So I don't know what you guys think about that. If you like Final Fantasy VII, OG Final Fantasy VII never needed changing. Still my favorite game ever. Well, I don't know why they did it. I don't know what that was about. I know that part of it probably has to do with the fact that, again, this is the most well-known Final Fantasy game. And so people are constantly talking about it. So Square is like, well, we want to give it to them because we want to sell it. But how do we do that without like just rehashing the original story? So they just did something else. And also, how can we drag this out? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'd like
I
to
mean,
see
why get one payday when you can get there on to the third payday now for reinterpreting the original Final Fantasy VII. So people are still buying it. So yeah, they'll still keep selling it. I don't know. I know there's a lot of fans of Final Fantasy in general.
it's not really your thing.
Yeah, I mean, I played Final Fantasy VII. I enjoyed it, and I even played into Final Fantasy X. I think was the last one that I really kind of even gave a shit about. And then I just kind of went in its own little direction, and I decoupled at that point. But hey, if you're into it, cool. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I get it. All right, so that's it for all of the things. Dark Kikimora gives us $2 and says, "Is it time for them to remake Medieval again?" You mean like Medieval with the skeleton guy? That game? That's been remade already.
Yeah,
They did a Medieval remake.
Yeah,
already.
I'm pretty sure you can get it on Steam at this point.
Fortescue, is that what his name? Fortescue, the skeleton guy. Yeah, they already remade that.
Yeah.
A while ago. You can probably find it.
Yeah, I think it's
somewhere.
really available on Steam, and you could. I think that
Yeah.
probably looks as good as it needs to at this point.
Yeah, definitely go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Okay, so a couple more I wanted to show off. So we got some demos I think you guys should check out. So first there's Deca Duck. And Deca Duck is basically like Mega Man X or Mega Man. It's a 2D action platformer featuring fully hand-drawn art and animation. It looks good, and I played the demo of it. I thought it was pretty neat. So yeah, definitely check out Deca Duck. You can like throw enemies, and it's just kind of weird, but I kind of like that. So yeah, there's a demo for this right now. I don't think the game is out yet, but there is a demo, so you can play it if you want to check it out. Then there is this game called Cloudheim, which I tried out just before the show. And it's basically, what I think is kind of interesting about it is, first of all, it has like, physics-based combat. It has like this Zelda Breath of the Wild aesthetic to it. And you pick different characters, and you can play online co-op with up to 4 players. So that's kind of cool, and it's sort of like an action RPG roguelike thing. But it's got a lot going on, and I think it's got a lot going for it as well. And then I think I have like another one here that I'm going to show you guys in a second. Saying in the meantime. But store page. Sorry, it's called Satellite Odyssey Jupiter. So let me just put it in here. Let's search it. Satellite Odyssey Jupiter. This is part of a series, I guess, the Satellite Odyssey game. And there is also it's like a play test for this. So you can like join the play test if you want to. And it is
some
Stars blend
jazz.
of survival horror and noir detective mystery. So it's got like kind of like a BioShock vibe to it.
Sure.
And yeah, it looks pretty interesting as well. And let me see if there was one other one that I wanted to show you guys. Oh, right, Onimusha. I mean, you've probably seen it, but I played this one, and I got to tell you, man, Onimusha looks pretty. It was a lot of fun to play. I think that Capcom got a new chef because they are cooking with some of their games, and this one is very good. It's another male power fantasy. It looks good too, yes. But yeah, like Onimusha Way of the Sword, it has like this guy reminds me of like a Toshiro Mifune type character, and they do good stuff with the way that the combat works. There's a lot of things, a lot of tools you have. They clearly care about that stuff. So I thought that this was quite a solid game as well. So, and you can check out the demo. So, you guys don't take my word for it. Try it out yourself and let me know what you guys think. So, I think that's basically everything. Let me see what you guys are saying. I am also interested in Ill, but I'm gonna wait until I see some actual gameplay of that. So, Capcom are suddenly doing really well lately. Yeah, like I'm still not happy with Street Fighter. I mean, like the new announcements, some of them look weird. I guess, but I'm not. I think that Street Fighter is the biggest disappointment. But Onimusha, and I know that they announced that they're doing Okami is going to be coming, and there's a Mega Man coming. So I think that I think mostly Capcom's been doing pretty good lately.
Yeah.
So
I think maybe
I'm
they
happy.
took notice of the fact that Konami's had something of a a resurgence after their redemption
Yeah.
arc, and maybe they're like, maybe we should get in on that too. Just go and just deliver people games that they actually enjoy with the things they're actually interested in. It's not that hard, and I do think that it's far easier for companies in the East to recover than clearly what's happening here in Western game development, obviously. But
Mhm.
speaking of Konami, though, have you seen the most recent update on what's going on with Metal Gear Solid 4 and the new Master Collection?
No, is there are they remaking 4?
It is seemingly like even though this is under the Master Collection label, it does seem as though they are doing more of like a Delta Metal Gear Solid Delta level of rebuild for which and it's not and not in a way to try to like make it anything more than what it was, but a way to try to kind of preserve what was there, but also just add in like a few little bits of refinement that they've got the opportunity. They might as well, rather than just put it out as it was, because they have to rebuild certain aspects of it anyway. So they're updating textures and everything. So it's looking really, really good. So yeah, cannot wait.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep an eye on that. Like when I learn more about it, but will they have skippable cutscenes?
Come on now, come on! You don't like having a cutscene that is actually longer than most modern movies. Well, actually,
it's literally longer than the average Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot, but like it's part of the franchise, so they're all like that. I mean, you just gotta like.
I don't know. I love the obtuse nature of Metal Gear Solid 4. To be quite honest, like a 2.5 hour cutscene. Yes, I'm there for it. Every minute of the cutscene, and like I'm actually enjoying it.
That's fair,
right?
That's fair.
But Metal Gear is one of those games that people can love without even ever actually paying attention to the story. Because it does have solid mechanics as well. So yeah, that's all it takes.
All right, well let's wrap it up here then,
Indeed.
John, because we're a little over time. So what do you got going on this week?
For the rest of the day, not anything else going on other than gonna watch the original Highlanders so that I can do a review for it bright and early tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, Will has never seen the original Highlanders, so when I got to make a movie suggestion, I said, well, let's remedy that situation. So yeah, you can find me over Will's channel tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. We will be doing that review. I don't know what's going to be coming next after that because we haven't decided. But Will obviously still getting settled into the new job, so we're seemingly only doing stuff on the weekends. There was talk about doing something today, but he got caught up with life stuff. So I will be now freed up after this. So find me tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern over there, and probably next Saturday after we finish up here, or again at 11 a.m. on Sunday. And then, of course, 8 p.m. Easterns with Toasty throughout the week. Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Other than that, I will just be enjoying my new leisure schedule while I try to get a few things sorted out so that I can actually get my my next streaming endeavor kind of off the ground. But I got a few things. I'm not in a rush, but I do want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. We do appreciate all the likes, shares, follows. Kind donations when they do come in are all greatly appreciated. All the ways to show support, we just very much appreciated. Of course, always a blast getting to have a little bit more in-depth conversations with you about these things. But with that all said, y'all have a wonderful weekend going forward. Safe travels ahead. Be awesome as always.
Okay, well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we talked about on the show today, and share the video because sharing is caring. Thanks so much for coming on this episode of The Week in Culture, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. Long live Vivian.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.